You've been listening to WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.
Listening to Paratalkradio with Ted Wolf and Psychic Cindy on Paratalkradio.com, a member of the WLFE digital broadcast family, and is intended for listeners over 16. The topics, views, and opinions expressed on our show may not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Paratalk Radio, our hosts, or our sponsors. Now, here are your hosts, Ted and Cindy.
You've been listening to WLFE.
Oh, mercy.
Hi.
Hi.
Am I getting an echo?
Yes, you are. Woo.
I hope you
hit the wrong button. Well, it happens.
It does. Every now and then.
Yep. So, how are you?
Hi, guys. Oh, I didn't do it. Hi, everybody.
Big gem box is in bearing mode, waiting for device to connect.
Yeah, my thing it was acting weird and funny. Like,
That's
I couldn't
all right.
get into... every time I tried to get into my link to you on Facebook, it kept saying... I'm sorry, something went wrong.
Yeah, it was doing that for me, trying to start the beginning of the show.
Yeah, so I'm glad it wasn't just me, to be honest. I'm like, what the hell? I'm not doing anything wrong. Look, I don't have makeup on, people. It's fine.
That's okay. You still look beautiful.
I knew you would say that, Teddy. Thank you. I even said to the boys, I'm
I'm a good guy.
I know you are. You are a good guy.
All right, so I'm going to say hi to my watch party.
Okay.
So everybody
and I'm
over
do
on
mine really.
Okay.
I don't do a watch party, but
Oh, okay. So everybody on my watch party, Angelina, Charles, Charles
I'm also
Phillips
gonna
is on
say
there
hi
twice.
to everybody here.
Jay Stewart, Tim, Kitty, welcome to Paratalk Radio. We haven't talked to Kitty in a long time. Remember Kitty? She had a really good book and that we read, and excellent book. We're gonna have to get her back on again at some point and see what's up with her. You know?
Absolutely, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'm
Hello,
say
John
hi
Davis.
to everybody. I'm gonna say hi to everybody in here. Hi, Christopher. Christopher, you freaking rock, dude. Thank you so much for your positive.
He's like
review
everywhere.
For me.
He's like everywhere.
He did a positive review for me, and he put me on his.
I saw that.
I don't know what it's called because I'm not familiar with it. So
Yeah,
I have to
no,
look
I saw
at
it though.
again. Cora says, hugs Wolf and Cindy Lou. Hugs back to you, Coral. Hi, Jason. I haven't seen you in a while. Hi, Shira. Hi, Dominic. Hi, Nick Moulet. He says, hi, guys. Hugs, Invisible John.
Yep.
Echo from each of you. It should be better now, Cora.
Yeah, it should be. It should be gone.
Did you fall in a well? Yes, we did.
Kitty said I'd love to come back.
Oh, that would be amazing. I see you're back to using a green screen, Teddy.
I was messing with it today because I have to do some video work for WLFE. And the only way to do it is by putting the green screen up behind me, because I'm going to be doing some commercials actually so they can see me and all that stuff. So I'm trying to look pretty.
Awesome.
I've lost like 10 pounds. I lost 10
Wait, you
pounds.
lost 10 pounds?
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you, Teddy Poo Poo.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm trying to become good looking. I don't know if it'll ever happen in this lifetime.
Honey,
Maybe the
are
next, but
good-looking.
you know.
No, you are a good looking man.
Dominic is a lot better looking than I am. I was flirting with him earlier today, so we were talking. So I'm just picking on him.
Nick says, I see you're back to using the green screen. Yes, we said that Wolf and Cindy Lou may have a surprise soon. I can't wait, Cora.
Oh.
When is Cindy Lou not beautiful? Cora, you're so sweet. You guys.
Ernie
I
Atwell,
appreciate that.
Mr. Ernie is
Dominic
joining
says,
us.
Oh, that was so cute. Dominic says, this makes my night.
Yeah.
And he says, congrats, Teddy.
Thank you.
Nick said, congrats, Teddy, for your
Thank you.
weight loss. Whoa, congrats, Teddy, from Christopher.
Wow.
Dominic was laughing, and
Yep.
Jason says, congrats, Ted. Dominic
Thanks, Jason.
says, ha, love it, because you were flirting with him earlier.
Yep. Him and I were talking today.
See,
Actually,
look, I brought my makeup so I could put it on.
cool.
I'm not
Over
talking.
here on my watch party, Ian Griffith just showed up, and so did Ernie Atwell. We haven't seen Ernie in a long
Nick said
time
he's
either.
going for a quick walk, but he's going to be back to cause trouble later. Perfect. I'll hold you to that.
There you go. I was talking with Dominic. Dominic's writes poetry, and he's got a fantastic
That's
book.
awesome.
And actually, you would love it because it's actually got some witchcraft poetry in it.
Yay!
So, hello,
Nice.
Octane.
Hi, Octane.
Oh, and you know what?
What's
Letitia would
going
love
on
it too.
here?
Letitia would love it as well.
Hi, Letitia. Hi, everyone. Long time.
So I'll get
Both of you all get a video chat from me next month. Take time for me. Girl, you know I got time for you. You know I got your time.
So, yes, Letitia, it's been a long time.
Listen, Cindy is doing a mukbang, and it's about cashews.
Amok.
You know what a mukbang is, Teddy?
No, but I just said amok.
A mukbang is when we eat food. We eat a bunch of food, and we talk about it as we eat it.
Yeah. Well, I want to get.
I just haven't eaten, so.
I'm going to get a link from Dominic, and we're going to post his book here somewhere because I really think you guys need to. Anybody that's into the arts or into paganism or just likes good poetry, the guy actually writes pretty well. He used to do film. He was a videographer, and now he's writing poetry. He's found his calling.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So he's actually a really good guy. I want to come over here and say hi to Robert and Andrea and Gerard. Thank you so much for joining us.
I see your watch party.
Oh, look at you go, girl.
I love it.
Dominic, stop thanking me.
Hi, Tom Conwell.
Hello,
Wow,
Tom.
thank you again.
Look at Cora. She's like, I just stuffed myself with tuna helper.
She just stuffed herself with tuna helper.
Yep.
I used to love that shit, man.
I hate tuna. I hate fish.
I love it.
Yeah, Dominic's work is good. You'll definitely like it. Definitely like it. I gotta make him a commercial for his book like I did for me. I just gotta get Cindy to write a goddamn book.
I will. Oh my God.
I keep pushing you until you get it done, woman.
Listen, Spirit's been pushing me for...
It's been a while.
Way before I met you. Let's put it this way. I still lived with my parents.
That's a long time.
That's when I got the title of my book. While I slept.
Well,
that was back in the 90s. It had to have been... Well, let's see. When did I move out?
I don't know.
91, 2001. So it was before 2001.
Well,
And it was after 97 and before 2001.
well, maybe it's time.
I know it.
You know?
I know
It'd
it.
be great. So, I gotta ask you,
It will be great. Thank you, Teddy.
You're welcome. Are your t-shirts still available? Do you still have those? Because somebody asked me about a Psychic Cindy t-shirt.
Oh, yeah, I can get one, definitely.
Okay. All right. Well, I will reach out to them. Actually, I'll just hook them up with you. And then you can go from there. So,
I can't wait till I get. I think if I have 1,000 subscribers, maybe it's more than that. Oh, maybe it's 10,000 subscribers I have to get before I can do the stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, you'll get it.
I actually want to get some of my own logo stuff, T-shirts and stuff.
But you know, you
I'm
can
gonna
always
have some
put them.
funny ones.
You can always put create your Teespring T-shirt line. Just go on there and create it, and then we can just put the link on Paratalk, and people can just go right there to the link and buy them. I'll show you how to do it. We'll talk. We'll get it done.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, Dominic's like, please share the shirts.
I'm gonna have some funny ones. I wish I had it on right now. I don't have it on right now. It says Psychic Cindy with my logo.
Yeah, Christopher's saying he ate tamales today.
Wait, is there a way I can show my logo? I don't think I can.
I have it. I can look for it while we're doing some stuff here. But he's going to be joining us. This is going to be a great interview. We haven't talked to Tom in a long time. We haven't seen him probably 2 or 3 years. He's a ufologist, and he's been writing books on UFOs and all that stuff for a long time.
Is he any relation to Tim?
He's actually Tim's dad.
I knew it.
Yeah. He's an amazing guy. Lots of information if you're into UFOs and any of that stuff. Yeah. He's the guy to talk to. He's
so
got a
much
lot of knowledge.
Information.
Oh my God. Yeah. I don't know why he doesn't work for MUFON. He could probably straighten some of those guys out.
Right.
I didn't say that, did I? Did I say that?
I think I might have heard that. I mean, but no, I didn't.
No, you didn't?
I didn't.
Well, he's waiting in the back already, but I wanted to read his thing before we bring him in here. So Tom's, hold on one second. I wanna read your thing here. So real quick, it says ufologist Tom Conwell has been an electronic technician with the US Navy and Honeywell Inc. For 42 years, a Honeywell Temperature Control, fire alarm, and security software specialist, biomedical engineer, is fire alarm level 2 certified, and a metrologist, study of measurement, and an HVAC engineer resource. Tom has a wide-ranging expertise with a keen awareness of physics, computer, and internet software, and broad knowledge of electronics and how it intersects with the paranormal world and UFOs. Over the past 3 years, Tom has written 5 books. I said Tom's like there's 2 of them. Tom has written 5 books and created created a sighting map of the U.S. They are based on aspects of ufology. He has studied and researched UFO sightings reports for the entire U.S. and created a national sighting map, which has revealed anomalies throughout the U.S. Tom has also been on numerous radio programs across the U.S., has published 4 books. They Are Here, Volume 1, 2, and 3 on Amazon. He assembled his blogs into a story of how UFOs can find their way here from light years away, going interstellar. He is also planning multiple speaking events for the general public and maintaining a Facebook presence with frequent postings on extraterrestrial life and UFO sightings. Tom's latest work involves a research book attempting to determine if UFOs are attracted to earthquakes. This ends in a surprising finding and has been released.
They just had one in California.
That's right. So Cindy and I are thrilled to sit down with Tom once again and talk to one of our favorite topics, UFOs, and to a gentleman that we both really respect. He's got a lot of knowledge. He's a great guy. And
I just shared it.
Did you? Okay. And we want to welcome Tom to the show. Welcome, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
How are you?
Great.
It's been a while.
Good to see you guys. Oh, I know.
Good to see you.
Years the same.
Yeah, it's been a few years.
I know because I think when I stopped to see you at the booth, Tim was the only one there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
At Gettysburg last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tom didn't make it last year, right?
Yeah.
It was just Tim.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely great to have you back here because I'm very interested in UFOs and aliens. That's like my second top subject. I love that stuff.
Yes.
I've talked to numerous MUFON guys, and I know Cindy has had her experience as well with UFOs and aliens. So this is going to be awesome tonight. So
Good.
thank you.
It just so happens I'm interested in them too. So
Perfect.
amazing how that happens. Yeah.
Amazing, isn't it? It's just what a small world. What a small world.
What a small world. Well, we find out how small it is, right?
Exactly.
I hope.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So tell us this whole thing, because I'm really interested now. I mean, I want to dive right in if you don't mind. I want to know what's the theory about this whole thing with UFOs and earthquakes. I'm really interested.
Yes. Yes. My friends we were actually texting, and she's like, oh my gosh, Cindy, I just stopped to meditate for a few minutes, and I was brought out of it. I don't know what my mom is doing, but she knows I have my show today.
Moms.
Oh my.
She literally she stopped to meditate for a few minutes, and she's like, oh my gosh, I just was meditating and I got interrupted by an earthquake. I'm like, holy cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fill us in, Mr.
Crazy.
Tom. What's the connection, you think?
Well, I thought there was a big connection. I really did.
Wouldn't surprise me.
There has been a lot of sightings of what are called earthquake lights in and around earthquakes. And I think that what they were was not UFOs. They were just a discharge of electrical energy right around the time of the earthquake. And they're seen up in the sky, similar to ball lightning. And they're seen up in the sky in and around the earthquake. And people think, oh, they must be UFOs, you know. Well, I don't believe they are. Those are just discharges of energy, either prior to or in conjunction with the earthquake. Now, I've heard probably hundreds of people say over the years that, oh yeah, UFOs are attracted to earthquakes. But I've never seen proof.
Right.
I've never seen it. So I said, well, hey, maybe it's my turn to try to prove it.
Right.
So I went to the National UFO Reporting Center, and they have, probably by now, have 90,000 UFO sightings documented.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, 90,000.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
90,000.
I know. So I got these sightings and put them into a great big old database, even though they're shown to me in each database from the National UFO Center. I put them into one database so that I can look at one place and have all of the sightings in one place instead of having 50 states.
That sounds like a great idea to me. Makes sense to me.
That sounds like an amazing idea.
What a nightmare. Okay. But, yeah, it was bad.
I believe it.
It was really bad. But that took me about a year to do. And when I got that done,
Jesus,
I
Tom,
figured
that's amazing.
Yeah, really. So I figured at that point, it was just about time to put the earthquakes on a map, put the UFO sightings on a map, and see what I came up with.
Right.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
If there's a whole lot of sightings around the earthquake,
great data points.
if there was a whole lot of sightings right around the earthquake, then it must all be
connected.
Must all be linked.
Correlated.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I put on the first earthquake and got the sightings in and around that earthquake and put that on a map, and I didn't see very much. Nothing there. So I put the second one on, and nothing there. Put the third one on, and nothing there either. Put the fourth one on, I saw maybe one or two around it, but like within 100 miles, you know? Then I put the next one on, and I saw maybe a couple around it, within 50 miles, 30 miles. But there's nothing I could lay my fingers on. I couldn't say, oh, yeah, this is all caused from that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nothing. So I expanded my search. I expanded my search into not just the day of the earthquake. I expanded it to 2 days before and 2 days after. Right?
Oh,
so
shoot.
So that's a total of 5 days. And I figured,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
maybe they show up in and around the earthquakes because they know when they're coming.
Right.
Well, I got the same kind of results. Nothing there.
Wow, that's crazy.
Interesting.
And this whole time, I thought I was going to prove this, right? So I went through all of my sighting, all of the earthquakes, and put all the sightings on a map, and saw, for all intents and purposes, nothing. Very, very little that I could hang my hat on to say that UFOs are attracted to earthquakes. So another step I took is I put all of the sightings on for the entire United States, not just like within a few states of the earthquake. The whole U.S. I put them down.
Thanks, Dominic.
I thought, well, maybe I'm going to see something else. I didn't know. So I looked at the 5 day. This was a 5 day window, 2 days before the day of and 2 days after.
Right.
And thought, well, maybe what I have to do is to expand it even further. So I went out the 5 days before, the day of, and 5 days after. I said, if I don't see anything here, then they aren't appearing around the earthquakes.
Yeah, 11 days. That's a lot of time.
That's a long time, right?
Yeah.
So I put that down on my on again a whole separate map of the whole United States, which took forever. Okay, and looked at it and saw nothing. Really, nothing to speak of.
Wow.
Virtually no attraction of UFOs that I can come up with to earthquakes. So this one night, I was pondering what I was going to do because I had set out to write a book. And how am I going to write a book by saying nothing happened?
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I laid out
That wouldn't
on
make much of a book.
That would be a short book. Nothing happened.
I know. So I laid out on a
chapter.
table. I laid out on a table in front of me the different maps that I had, the 5 day and the 11 day map. And I laid a whole bunch of them out, like 7 or 8 of them across. And I was sitting there looking at them and thinking, there's got to be something here. There's some sort of correlation here. But I couldn't see anything. So luckily, my dog barked and wanted to go outside. So I jumped up and let the dog out. And I came back to sit in my chair. And as I was walking back toward my chair, I looked at the maps from a whole different viewpoint. I looked at them not from like north-south. I looked at them from the east to the west. I hadn't looked at them like that before. And what I saw was a whole bunch of straight lines, sighting reports, a whole bunch of straight lines, either across the U.S. or across, at the very least, the eastern U.S.
Wow.
Now, where would these come from? Straight lines from what? Sighting reports that were in cities that happened to be on a straight line.
Wow.
What?
I was totally shocked. So for about the 5th time in this whole process, I put all the maps aside, put them over in the corner, and said, let me think about this for about a week. So I did. And by the time I got back to the things, I realized that what I was probably seeing was the UFOs going in a across the U.S. pattern, back and forth, like a survey or something like that.
Huh?
So I thought, maybe they're surveying us, and I just happened to catch it. So I thought, that is really cool, you know. I never expected that. So um, that sent me off in a whole different direction. No more am I saying to myself, I got to prove that UFOs are going around earthquakes. Now I'm saying, why are they in straight lines? Why did I happen to see them now?
Right.
So I had to come up with a reason. I had no reason at that point. So I started thinking, you know, is it possible that
Yes, Morse code of a UFO. That's
that
cool, Dom.
they are looking at us in some very, very specific way that I haven't yet thought about, or that nobody's ever mentioned.
Wait a second, Tom. I just thought of something. Were these before the earthquakes happened? Because this is my thought and theory, is maybe they're picking up on an energy change or a disturbance or something that they can read, see, hear, feel, whatever, prior to us, and then somehow they're getting it before us, and that would give them this reason for surveying.
Okay.
You mean like precognition of it?
Almost like a precognition, but it's more like sensory. Like they may have some sophisticated technology. Like we have seismographs that are in the earth that check and can feel these changes in vibrations.
So you think that being like out in space, they might have something? Yeah, I get it. That they can see the earth. That
energy disturbance. Because think about it this way. I mean, I read energy, right? If I can read energy, maybe they have a way of reading the energy of the earth before we actually are picking up on it.
Oh, very, very good point. That's one of the things I looked at. What I did is I created a whole bunch of different maps, not just UFO sightings, but maps of the fault lines in the United States, other things.
Interesting.
And with each of the earthquakes I got, and comparing them to where the UFOs happen to be seen, I compared that on another map to the fault lines to see if maybe they were looking at fault lines that were being created somewhere else.
I just got goosebumps when you said that, Tom.
I thought I was onto it too. Nope.
No.
No. No, believe me. The only thing I saw, really, the only thing that I saw that I thought might have been interesting was that on the longer fault lines, such as the San Andreas Fault, if there was an earthquake on one side of the San Andreas, call it Northern California, I would see almost a corresponding bunch of UFO sightings on the south side of the San Andreas. Call that Southern California.
Wow.
Now that I saw something like that in more than one occasion, believe me. And I thought
that's interesting.
I packed that away to the back of my head and think, maybe there's something there. And I did mention it in my book as to being a possibility. But I thought about this from the standpoint of the extraterrestrials. Let's just assume that they are extraterrestrials that are looking at us. They won't need to scan us continuously. Wouldn't it make sense that they have super duper computers and super duper storage systems so they don't only have to scan us once and they'd know everything about our topography, where our minerals are, everything. They wouldn't have to do it over and over and over.
True.
So why are they doing it over and over? Okay. That was the big question.
That is a good question.
What is changing?
I don't know, Tom. I have to tell you something. When
Go
I
ahead.
get the goosebumps, it means the truth has been spoken. So something that you said about the fault lines has to be true. There
Yeah,
has
I
to
know.
be some kind
I know.
of correlation with that because my body physically reacted.
Okay. I'm not done yet. So let's just say that the UFOs don't need to go back and forth over the same areas. So why are they?
Right.
What is changing? Well, I looked at all the things that could possibly be changing.
It has to be the energy.
The energy of some sort, right? So it can't be the minerals underground because
Those don't
they
change.
aren't
because those
moving.
wouldn't change.
No.
Those wouldn't change.
It can't
However,
be.
if the energy changed because of the earthquake, the minerals may change.
Okay, yeah. Absolutely possible. And could it be the topography is changing? The rivers? No, not really. The ocean's pretty stable. It'd be raising a little bit, but not changing that drastically. There's really nothing. There's nothing I could come up with, except for one thing: the people. What if all of the people
Interesting.
are rapidly, around the same period of time, awakening?
For
Wow.
farg's sake, Tom. For farg's sake. And we are having a mass awakening right now.
Yes, and they can sense that with
I
either
just
their
got goosebumps again.
and either with their instrumentation or with their
Oh God, I have goosebumps.
with
still
their
over that stuff.
their minds, because they're generally
right, because we
psychic beings.
communicate. Right, we communicate telepathically.
Yeah. Yep.
For fuck's sake, Tom!
Yeah, really. All right. That is exactly how I felt.
Holy
Except I didn't
shitballs!
say the F word. I mean, that's exactly how I felt.
But I will!
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So,
damn.
I knew that this awakening was happening, but I didn't know how to explain it because it had only just started with me. So what did I do? I have all kinds of friends on Facebook who are psychics and seers and empaths, and
I didn't get a call from you, Tom.
No, I know. I contacted 17 of these people who are my friends and asked them to give me their definitions.
Okay.
I got some short definitions. I got some super long ones. Okay. But I got 17, not exactly different viewpoints, but 17 viewpoints that kind of covered the whole spectrum. I found that to be one of the most interesting things I've ever done. And
What
I
was
swear
it
to
that you wanted? What was it that you asked them? What was the exact question that you asked them?
I had that written down. Let me think. The question.
Put the man on the spot, Cindy.
Well, that's fine.
I'm just curious because if it was just a blanket question, what would you consider awakening?
It was probably something very similar to that.
Okay.
And I said, I don't know what awakening is.
Can I
Give
give
me
you
what your. Well, sure, go ahead.
Can I give you what my thoughts are on this whole process? So, what the awakening is for me is literally raising our vibration as humans, because humans have very low vibration. I actually will call it something that they gave me while I went to school at MCC, which is, let's see, Jet was a baby. So 2005, it had to be 2006 when I got this information. Spirit told me something, and they called it quantum communication. And I did not know or understand what that was, but I actually understand it completely now. It is this what we are doing. It's the awakening right now. It's quantum communication because they want to be able to communicate with us in a way that we can communicate telepathically. I understood that me as a psychic medium already did this. This was something I knew and understand back then. But I didn't understand for what they were talking about until just the past year and a half maybe. But I understand quantum communication so much more now. And what they're explaining is it is literally raising the vibration of human beings because we run in a very low vibration. So as we raise our vibration, we can communicate with these higher beings on a much better, more clear channel. Does that make sense? And in that communication, we can communicate telepathically much more easily than we do now. But it's in the raising of the vibration of the rest of humans to meet to where we already are. It's kind of getting rid of the 3-dimensional level and raising us up to the 5th dimension.
Okay. All right. I've heard descriptions of that in the 17 reports that I got back. People were all around what you said. Right? They were in all kinds of directions, in and around
Lisa,
the same
how
kind of
are
thing.
you, honey?
So
Thank you. That's cool. That's cool that we have approximately the same kind of thought process. I mean, we talk to spirits, so we do have a little bit of an in.
a lot more than I have. I had to go about this thing all differently.
Well, you should. I mean, you're trying to take this from a scientific point, you know.
I love that,
and
actually.
you want
I love
to.
that so much.
You're writing a book, so you need to take every direction possible, you know, and that's the way it should be for investigation. To sit down and write a book. I mean, you really do need to do that. So, I'm enjoying this so far. I'm actually listening and taking it in. I love it.
So it's this book. It took me almost two years to write it. Not because I was writing for 2 years, but because every time I'd hit a roadblock, I said, enough of this shit, and I put the thing away for a month or 2 months, and then thought, well, maybe I'll come up with a little different perspective then.
Right.
That's why it took me so long. But the last part, I had to give people a deadline as to getting back with me and telling me certain things.
And depending on others to get your information takes time. You know what I mean? That really does.
It does.
And I had to wait for them.
Take a lot.
It was awful. It was awful because I knew I was onto something, and I knew that was the subject matter, and then I had to wait for people to get back with me. It was, it was tough.
It is tough. Yeah. I'm really interested because, there's a lot of theories out there that when UFOs or the aliens come to our planet, they're looking at like our ore, our minerals, all that stuff that we have. They're looking to, that's one of the theories. They come to see what we have.
I don't know. I think they're after us a lot of times, to be honest.
Well, I was going to get there. I mean, but they're coming for all that. Now, we're not saying there's one type of alien form first off, and there's all different types out there to some point. And so they're all coming here for different reasons. So we might be cattle for some. They might be coming for our, minerals and ore. They may be coming for our water. They could be coming for whatever.
He kind of looks like Stanley, though, too, doesn't he, Liz? So one of our people in here, Liz said, Tom, has anyone ever told you that you sound like Stan Lee? I'm like, heck that. How about that he looks kind of like Stan Lee?
Okay.
Listen, I love Stan Lee. He was Marvel Universe Spider-Man.
Yeah, I've met Stan at Scarefest.
Nice.
And he's a very interesting guy.
Right.
I don't know. I didn't have a great time meeting him because I found him hard to talk to. But that's just me.
It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Maybe he said
Wouldn't
that guy
surprise
looks
me.
like me, and he got all flustered. I mean, I don't know.
That could
That's a great
be.
way to take it.
Tom?
Yeah, really.
That's a great way
Oh
to
my
take
God,
it.
you could go to San Diego Comic-Con and you could be Stan Lee and everybody would freak out because, oh my God, did Stan Lee really die? Or is this guy really Stan Lee?
That's funny.
That is funny.
I'm just saying.
But here's the other thing, and Dominic Dominic actually made a point.
Please.
I mean, we've
Oh my
been
God,
toying.
Liz says, please say Excelsior.
But anyways, Dominic was making a point that, I mean, when I was saying that they come down here for reasons, we've heard all these theories that, we are their cattle. They breed with us, or they're the ones that put us on this planet. I mean, there's just so many different theories that we don't know. But when Tom was telling me about his new book and, the earthquakes, natural disasters, and would they come down and what would they want to see or why, period, it really made me start thinking that it's not just earthquakes. I mean, there's also, larger natural disasters. Look at the hurricanes and the tornadoes and all this stuff that happened that maybe they're just checking on us to make sure we're okay. Maybe they're checking to see if we're advancing. Maybe they're, I don't know, here to tickle your feet, Cindy. Who knows? I mean, nobody knows why they stopped down here, but, there's got to be a reason. And Tom's book just made me think of that. It's like, man, there's a point that probably nobody's ever went to before. They've never went to that side and said, hey.
Yeah, hi, Patricia.
California's supposed to fall off the United States. So what happens at that point?
So, Tom, I have a question from Patricia.
Sure.
She said, do you think they experiment on us?
I'm sure some of that went on. Sure. That wouldn't surprise me in a single bit. I have interviewed some people who have told me some stories that, yes, experiments are going on continuously.
Wow.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So this whole theory now, I mean, so now what you're pointing at is it's the people. And like what Cindy was saying is the raising of the vibration or the awakening, which makes sense as well because people are advancing up here in areas that we haven't before. I mean, if you just look at the evolution of man, where we came from, we had a big brain, but we only used like 2% of it. We were an ape-like figure. And then the more we grew, the smarter we got. But there are theories as well that this is our second or third time around doing this. To come back around and become smart again, and then we kill ourselves. Letitia's got a comment in here. She says, when I was about 10 or 11 years old, we had a family gathering during New Year's Eve, and we were on our deck, and we all, like 15 people, saw a metallic disc that literally stopped on top of us. Then it made like a side move, and then it took off. Is that a way of them to scan us, or was it just a quick stop? I think Tom's going to tell you something here that he's not 100% positive on, but he's probably heard this story before.
Oh, hundreds of times. What I think probably happened is the people that get taken are people who already have a tendency to be psychic.
Wow.
And
Wait, say that again?
Okay. The people that are taken, abducted, if you will, are people who are already likely psychic.
That wouldn't surprise me. Both my daughter and I just got goosebumps. That just freaked me out, Tom.
Yeah, I know. It's
Well, look at Cookie. Cookie's psychic too. She's and she's been taken 5 times.
Everybody that I know of who has told me an abduction story also come across as either intuitive or psychic or something along those lines, whether they're a medium or just a psychic or whatever, but they all are. I would not be surprised if the story that you just told me before had something to do with this ship came in, went over top of these people and scanned them, if you will, and none of them were probably psychic or wasn't something that they were specifically looking for, and they just left.
That's why they left.
That's just a guess, of course, but that's
interesting.
Probably best guess.
It wouldn't surprise me that if they were taking...
It wouldn't surprise me.
Well, we also know, too, that there's the theory, because we've heard this before, because we've had plenty of people on here talk about UFOs, that usually it's also a family thing. It's usually generations of the same family that are taken. You know, so maybe that's how they're seeing, how the evolution is going here with this, as in, know, from this generation to that generation. Are they getting smarter, dumber, whatever? I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
I mean, we used to have an advanced society that was gotten rid of, right? I mean, there's reasons for Atlantis, right? There are reasons for even the
Mayans,
like the Mayans and the Incans, right? There are reasons they are not in existence any longer.
Right.
Yeah. Sure.
You just put these puzzles together and shoot, you could write 100 books.
You're absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. Everything is a puzzle. And you have to think about it from the mind of extraterrestrial.
Yeah. And see, that's so weird because...
really rough.
Well, yeah, because, Tom, we don't know what they... It's not like we can just walk next door and interview them and, scan them and say, hey, this is what you're made of, or, how does your brain work, or, in some sense, they kind of look down on us like they're either the gods or, they're our... I don't know, our babysitters. They're doing a pretty shitty job at babysitting, though. But, it's,
So there are things that are happening in the chat as well.
In the what?
So in the chat, Patricia had asked if they experimented. And then Chris said they came to steal Al Bundy's socks for fuel.
Oh, my God.
But Leticia says, when I was about 10 or 11, we had a family gathering during New Year's Eve, and we were on
I read that already, Cindy.
And we all, 15 people, saw them. You read this out loud already?
Yeah.
I thought so. Sounded familiar.
I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But everybody is just talking about it after that. Liz says that I feel that the idea of gods and the stories and lore are in fact visitations. That is exactly it. So, how there's the ancient Egyptian god Ra? That's actually an alien species. They're named Ra.
Huh.
Yeah. And also Shiva, who is the blue god in Hindu, he is actually, I call them the blue ones. Yes, so I do know that some of these gods that we know as gods are actually alien.
Christopher was saying that he's had dreams about UFOs and aliens. They are the ones where I don't know if they're... but he doesn't know if they're real or not because he's dreaming of them. Some people would say that because you're dreaming of them, especially if it's happening a lot, there's some type of connection between you and them. I mean, that's...
Exactly.
Yep.
Yes.
Dominic says that in the Bible it shows a UFO.
Well, even Dominic says that he's seen 2 and he's empathic.
And there's been carvings on the walls. We know that.
Yes,
ancient carvings.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
His
Yes,
cousin,
I mean-
I believe, is a psychic medium, and he said that his cousin has seen them as well. I don't
See,
have
it's
an abduction
this
story,
topic
but have
is
a really
so-
cool experience when camping in the desert with bouncing lights. They just showed up and were there. Colorful, bouncing balls of light. Had no direct origin in the middle of nowhere. Then they left. I've never had an explanation for it. That was Liz Clevenger. Yeah, Liz. I mean, especially in the Adirondacks, we had a very similar experience 2 years ago. We just were seeing lights we had no explanation of.
Yeah.
How and why. Jessica actually just had one in August with lights.
Yeah.
How and why would they
Leo
fly?
da Vinci's painting is full of them, says Christopher. So there is art like from
Interesting.
all over the world that has UFOs or alien type looking figures. I mean, this is not
Sorry if
something
this
new,
is loud.
folks.
I'm
I mean,
sorry.
we have been talking
No.
about UFOs for how many years, Tom? I mean, this research has been going on since
Millennia.
the early 50s, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
that we're aware of. There's
Yeah.
been reports of seeing strange things in the sky since, for thousands of years, really.
Right.
Yeah.
But just in this time, I mean, with the pilots now being able to tell their stories of what they've seen or what
Absolutely.
they hear, there's a lot of information coming out now that we've never had, never ever had. So
Right.
this new topic, as in the correlation of earthquakes and UFOs, to me, this
This is
sounds like a
crazy.
fresh. This is a fresh idea. This is a fresh thought. It's a new
Yeah.
path that I never would have thought of.
But I also love that he believes that it's correlated to the awakening as well. That's amazing to me.
Yeah. You have to
No,
take a look
I
at my
think
book,
it's
Cindy.
great. Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll have to make sure you guys. Now I put it up here, so I'll put it up here again. Make sure that you go over to Tom's Facebook page, send him a message, get a hold of his book, facebook.com, author.thomas.conwell. Now, is that available on Amazon or anything like that, Tom?
Oh, yes, it is. You just have to search for earthquakes and UFOs. And just remember what my name is so you know when you come across it.
All right, so I'm just going to put that in here. Search.
Yeah.
So Leticia says that her experience was in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And we know that San Juan had that huge earthquake, right? It was in San Juan. There's been a couple of them actually in Puerto Rico.
There was some. There were about one per month for about 7 or 8 straight months. And there were 4s and 5s down
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Did I put that on there right? Earthquakes and UFOs, or is it the other way around?
Earthquakes and UFOs. Earthquakes and UFOs.
Look at that. I did have it right. That,
Perfect.
God, it looks like a big book.
Good job.
It is. It's an 8.5 by 11.
Wow.
And there's-
Beautiful.
Yeah, and it's color, and there's probably 120 maps in here.
No kidding. That's
amazing.
awesome. Wow, I'm going to have to get one
That
of those.
is amazing.
Add that to
I
my
showed
collection.
all of my. My intent was to show all of my research. I didn't want to leave anything out. This is what I'm looking at, and this is why I came to the conclusion that I did, and let people say, "Oh, now I understand," instead of just
Yeah.
saying it. Because
Right.
then you
That's
have
perfect.
then you have 40, 50,000 words, and you have trouble picturing it.
Right, right.
I wanted
Yeah.
to show the maps.
Hey, some of us are very simple people, and we love looking at pictures. Sorry.
I certainly knew that. Yeah.
Thanks, Tom. He did it just for me.
Yes, we have. So, Liz, where are you located? She said we've.
Liz
been
is in
having
California.
earthquakes lately. That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
she's in California.
So this is the thing, is we here in New York have a huge fault line, and people aren't aware that we have this fault line that's just as big and known as the San Andreas.
Yeah, we just don't
is
have a
that
lot of
people-
earthquakes that we know of. Though.
That's not true. We have had a lot, but they're
lot of
not
little
as
ones.
large scale. Right, they're not as large scale. We
Right.
have a lot of little ones.
Yeah. That mostly
And
goes
Tom
up.
is here in New York too. Aren't
it-
you, what are you, like Utica area?
Those are smaller faults. The one main fault that goes up alongside the Hudson River, and up into the Adirondacks.
Yes, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's an offshoot of the Ramapo Fault out of New Jersey.
So, Tom, you're near Albany or something. You're out that way, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I thought.
Oh, Albany.
Okay.
I don't know why I was thinking Utica area. Interesting. Genevieve said we had an earthquake in New Jersey last week. Thank you, Liz.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hi, Tim.
Oh,
There's
hey, Tim. There's the Timster.
Mr. Tim Conwell.
Yeah. Tim was over the house tonight and cut my lawn for me.
Oh, what a good kid.
Son, Tim.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
Good
Yeah,
star.
he really
Gold
is
star.
good.
Gold star.
He's got good stuff he's made of. That Tim.
So, Dominic is here.
has a question.
Yep. He says, Tom,
Question.
how do you
Yeah.
feel about holographic images of planes being UFOs, on video, all the UFO videos and stuff? What do you feel about that?
Okay. I'm not exactly sure where that question's going, but let me address holographic images. The first batch of UFOs that I saw, I think, was something similar to that. They weren't holographic images. I believe that they were projections. I don't think that we have projections. I don't think that we have the technology to do that. And I think they were projected from above, not from below. So, they're really weird. But we certainly have technology in the way of creating holographic projections. Also, we can spoof radars the same, well, not the same way, but a very similar way.
Right.
We can make radars think that they're seeing what they're not seeing.
Right. Now, because there's like if you watch like the what is that the Osbournes have a new show on all these UFO shows or paranormal shows and stuff. You see stuff where people are seeing massive. I mean, there was one video that showed 100 of these things flying across the sky together.
Yeah.
And then 3 lights flying around each other, and I mean, there's been so many sightings these days, and some of them look really convincing. I don't know if they're fake or overlays or what, but I mean, and I've been coming to the one where, and I just resaw the story about it just a couple days ago, where a police department actually had a police officer call in about the light, and then they had all these police officers on the street trying to find this light and follow it once they found it, and then it just disappeared.
That's happened all across the United States in various police departments. And there's a couple of big sightings, one that occurred in Illinois and went across to Indiana and Ohio and ended up disappearing in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was big too. It was a big thing, followed by a whole bunch of different police departments.
That's
now,
crazy.
do you think it just throw out a number, but just a random number in your mind, with the amount of I don't know, because of iPhones and all the stuff that we're getting now, with all these reports and they're showing video of these UFOs. I mean, do you think at least half of them are real, or do you think it's less than that?
It's probably less, but
Okay.
a lot of them are real. And one of the problems when you look at these craft that are anti-gravity, most of them have some sort of field around them, And when you look at it with a I hate to use the word poor, but with a camera that is not of the best quality,
Yes, Christopher.
you end up seeing blurry pictures, and this happens all across the United States because of the nature of the crafts that are flying.
Right.
And
Interesting.
everybody says, well, you know, they must be using terrible cameras to take the pictures. No, in most cases they're using reasonable cameras, but
Right.
there is a distortion of either time or space around the thing that's flying, and that shows up on the picture as a blur.
Right.
Wow.
That's what happens more than not.
I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
That, you know, maybe they had some way to, like, so we can't get a real good photo of it. They have some way of disrupting the way it's being seen or whatever. I mean, that's pretty weird.
Okay. I don't think they
You know
do
what
it
I'm
on
saying?
purpose. Yeah, I don't think that's done on purpose. I think that's what is used to support them in the air in an anti-gravity mode.
Okay.
And when we go to take
That's
a picture of
interesting.
that, it's just fuzzy or blurry, or it certainly isn't crystal clear.
Right. I mean, it kind of makes sense because if something has a vibration to it,
Yeah.
if it's vibrating enough, you're not
Right.
going to get a clear picture of it. You know,
Right.
so that could be. I mean, you know, as well as I do, even these planes that we have on some of the large aircraft carriers, they now have the jet propulsion that comes from the bottom that lifts them up, and they shake. So when you're trying to take a photo, sometimes even with just that itself, the photo does look like it's jumping around a little bit. So if it's something that's got a lot of vibration and it has this way of the propulsion to keep it up in the air or to get it to go, I mean, I can imagine that would be a reason for it to be blurry, I guess.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
these things aren't kept up in the air with rockets, okay? So
No, I was using it as an example, though, that it's like just looking at it from our standpoint as like the proportion of these things as rockets, but it still shakes. So whatever they're using, you know, could be doing the same thing, like you were saying. It's disruption of something to where
Right.
it's a natural thing with their development of their being able to fly with their machinery, that it's causing something that disrupts the camera. So, or the way the picture's being taken or something. It's just, it's weird. But I get it.
It's pretty interesting stuff when you
really
stop
is.
and try to think it all through.
It's scary.
You have
to
a
be
lot of
honest with
sleepless
you.
nights.
Yeah, it's very scary because there are people that have had so many experiences. Like, just for like shits and giggles, I mean, you get somebody that lives way out in, I don't know, Missouri, that lives on a farm with 500 acres and all they got is cornfields around them, and UFOs come down and bother them from time to time. You know, it's got to be scary if you live out there in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? And
Right.
not able to, you know, distinguish what it is or, you know, what's happening. And then again, if you're being abducted, I mean, that's scary shit. I don't care who you are.
Oh yeah.
Right. No, it is scary.
You know?
The people that are abducted, many times they don't ever recover from it.
No, you're right.
They're always looking behind them. They have trouble sleeping at night. They're worried about being taken and not being returned.
Right.
There's a whole lot of really bad stuff. I started out in the UFO field doing abduction interviews, and got through about 25, maybe as many as 30. They weren't all 100% interviews. They were some of them were only partial interviews because the people realized that I was asking some pretty tough questions, and they didn't want to face where they knew I was going.
Oh, the emotional value of it. They
Yeah.
didn't want to go there. Yeah.
So they stopped what
Actually, I've had a
I was
client.
doing.
Yes.
Yeah. So they stopped what I was
I've had a
doing.
client that she wanted to. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cindy.
No. It's all right. I
Well,
said
that's
that-
all right because of the delay.
Okay.
This happens. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
There is a small delay. Sorry.
Okay. But after about a year and a half and getting through, talking, like say roughly around 30 people, I had to stop because I started having dreams,
Oh.
and I couldn't take it. I couldn't take the thoughts. I couldn't take anything else. So I had to just
Right.
stop.
Yeah, I can totally understand that.
Yeah.
Dominic just put in here, he says, like, Skinwalker Ranch. Now, Skinwalker Ranch has had a lot of UFO sightings and
Yes.
a lot of that stuff as well. We don't know how much of it's true about the place and what's ever happened there. We just hear what people, say. Christopher puts in here, there have been cases of people getting cancer after being abducted.
Wow, that's crazy.
I haven't heard that before.
Me neither, but that's interesting.
I've heard
So-
about people being cured of their disease after being abducted. I've heard of
Oh.
that.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things I've done a regression, and it was for this lifetime that I was doing the regression. And my client only wanted to know, like, because they had missing time, and it wasn't just her, it was her partner as well. And it was right out on I-90 here, coming from Buffalo to Rochester. And it was in the 60s. And he was military, and they were coming back from Buffalo to Rochester. And all she wanted to know is because they were driving down I-90, heading back to Rochester, so they were heading east. And all she wanted to know was if it was UFO activity, because there were a couple things that happened. They were driving, and all of a sudden when they came to, after they noticed that there was several hours unaccounted for, now they were on the side of the road near the Leroy exit, closer to the Leroy exit, but there was also marks on her forehead, and they are scars. She still has them. And she just wanted to know if there actually was something, because she didn't want to know anything else. And as I was doing the regression, she was doing the regression. She gave me information, and all of a sudden, she came out of it. And I'm like, are you okay? And she brought herself out of it, because that was as far as she wanted to go. All she needed to know is that she was corroborated, that she had been indeed had been abducted, and that's all she wanted to know, because she didn't want to know anything else, because she had done so much research about people who had actually kind of gone crazy after they knew the details, or in knowing the details. So
I
she
think that
didn't want
after you miss time, I think it would be for general people, if you're missing amount of time, a couple hours or whatever, you would be uncomfortable. You would want to know, where that went. It's not like you're laying down to go to sleep and then, you dream. It's just a whole lapse of time is missing. I'm sure that would make you really uncomfortable.
Absolutely frightening.
Yeah.
Believe me. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to take a quick break. So I got to run a couple commercials. We're going to come back. Then you guys get all your questions together and stuff. Great show tonight. I love this topic. Tom, thank you so much for coming on here. We still have about a half hour left of the show to get to. What, Cindy?
I have one topic that I want Tom to contemplate while we are doing this commercial, which is Bigfoot and UFOs.
Oh my God. All right, we'll be right back after these messages.
Hey guys and dolls, this is Casey DeVille, the better half of DeVille Inc., Baltimore, Maryland. If you're ever in Baltimore, stop in and see me and Tony. Invisible Bree, 5920 Eastern Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21224. Give us a call if you're in the area at 410-400-9641, or look us up on the web at DeVilleInc.com. DeVille Inc., where we specialize in you.
All right, we are sitting here with Mr. Tom Conwell and Miss Psychic Cindy, and we are talking about UFOs and Tom's new book called Earthquakes and UFOs.
Awesome.
He's been
it.
great tonight talking to us about the whole book, and there you go, great cover. In fact, I used that for the advertisement. It was oh my god, I love it. In fact, I'm gonna have to get myself a book of it. I will read some more. This is definitely a great topic. If you know what I'm saying, I mean, it really is, and the connections that you wouldn't think of. And Tom's really thought outside the paranormal box on this one, the way I put it, anyway. It's like this is interesting. I love it. So we're gonna go back to Cindy's question. Go ahead, Cindy.
Well, can we? Well, there was a couple things because Chris was talking about how he'd heard about cancer being. So he just expanded on it.
Okay, let me see that real quick.
Thank you.
Okay, he says, I've heard of that too, but I've heard some have gotten sick due to the radiation from the ship. I guess that's possible. Yeah.
Dominic said he's buying the book. Fantastic.
Very awesome. Thank you, Dominic. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So correlation of Bigfoot and UFOs, the correlation. What do you think?
Okay, well, if you had asked me about 10 years ago, I would have said, I don't think so. Bigfoot, I don't know. I'm not on board with that.
On board, ship, get it?
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Lately, it seems like there is some sort of connection there.
What?
The Bigfoot, I believe, are probably coming from the ships. And,
absolutely.
And
I think
plopped
there's
onto the
portals
earth
that are being used as well.
And I don't know that the Bigfoot can get through the portal themselves, but I believe that the portals may be opened by the UFOs, and then the Bigfoot comes through. But I think that there's some sort of
it's like a Chewbacca.
Cooperation. It's what?
I would agree.
Wow. He says she said like
Chewbacca.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I said opposite of Cindy. Cindy really believes that there's a correlation, and I don't. I think Bigfoot's just an animal. Just an animal. That's it. I don't.
That's what I was saying, Dominic. Yeah.
You know, if a Bigfoot, here's my thought: if Bigfoot was dropped down here by aliens, even if to come and I don't know, babysit us or collect information or to evolve, they just drop them off so they evolve and see how far they get. I don't know. I don't know. I've even heard as much as that they're just it's an outfit for the aliens. The aliens wear this outfit that looks like Bigfoot so they can tromp around our woods. I don't know. I don't know if I can believe that, but I don't know.
Wookiees, yes, Christopher. I don't know. Wookiees are smaller though, so But this is
I don't
the
know.
thing, is Dominic was asking, do you think that, Bigfoot is alien? The thing is I have been saying that, and Teddy just does not want to believe me for anything. And the thing is think about it this way. Like, how can they... There was a gentleman that was in a national park on one side of the country, and days later, he ended up in another national park, not understanding how the hell he got there. That's a portal, my friends.
Yeah.
How did he get through that portal? Come on. We have to understand that these things are real. I'm not going through the portal in my bathroom. I'm just saying. However, I just do believe that there are more things that we do not understand and cannot explain, other than, somebody like me that's saying, hey, it's a portal. They're using portal systems. There's also alien activity, and they are probably from another planet. Nobody wants to listen to the crazy...
Well, I guess Tom is agreeing with you that there's some type of correlation. So you got somebody on your side.
He's not the only one. He's not the only one that we've brought on recently that has agreed with my theory.
I know.
Again, I would not have said that years
I
ago.
know.
But it sure does seem like there's some connection between the two.
Oh,
this.
Genevieve.
Primatologist says, I agree. Bigfoot is likely an undiscovered primate species. Thank you. Science. Oh my gosh. Science.
I think that would absolutely that would absolutely be true. But except there's just a lot of paranormal UFO stuff around Bigfoot that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Leticia says, do you think Bigfoot is the real Chewbacca?
All right, so let me throw something at you, because let me throw this out there, because this just popped in my mind. So let's say, for instance, UFOs dropped Bigfoot off.
For shits and giggles.
For shits and giggles, UFOs dropped Bigfoot off. Okay, let me just say that at this moment in time, I agree with you.
Okay.
They dropped them off. I do not favor portals whatsoever with this, but what if they dropped the Bigfoot off here to see how he goes through the evolution period? Like, what happens? Like, is he going to evolve? Like, maybe they're following Bigfoot as in a science project, dropping him off, see how he's doing, if he's surviving. Is he going to discover fire? You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's that. If I have to agree that UFOs dropped off this creature, then maybe it's on that, I don't know, focus. Maybe it's because they just wanted to plant another species down here with us to see if they would evolve and how long it took them to evolve to come where we are. Because think about this.
I mean,
people have said that we have evolved and then destroyed ourselves and come back. Just, evolve, destroyed ourselves and come back. Well, maybe that's how it starts.
I mean, that's what happened.
Maybe aliens brought Bigfoot back here.
Right?
Maybe they are the start of the human race and they evolve into us, and then we go. Maybe they're planning to destroy us and then repopulate the earth again, but with Bigfoot.
Here. So then you're saying they put them here again because we're about to fuck ourselves up to oblivion, like we did with Lemuria,
that be a theory?
like we did with the Incans, like we did with the
Mayans, couldn't that be a theory? Couldn't that be an idea?
Absolutely.
I mean, you and Tom are both saying that where there's Bigfoot, there's UFO activity. You both are saying that. You're both saying portals. So if that is the case, then coming from my side of the skeptical bracket over here, I would have to think that if this is true, I would assume that with reasoning that they would be dropping them off to see what happens in the evolutionary stages.
I just need you guys to know how. So Teddy, your thing, whatever, your connection started messing up as you started asking about this question and topic.
Okay.
My light just went crazy a second ago. I don't know if you saw that, you guys. However, it has gotten so ice cold around me. I am literally freezing. I'm freezing right now.
Yeah, Nick's like, what did I miss? You've missed a lot, Nick. You missed a lot.
That's what I said. You missed a lot, Nick. You got to go back and watch this one. This is a fun
So
one.
I love the whole idea. But I want to bring it back to Tom's book because I'm really interested in that whole idea and the connection of natural disasters or earthquakes and UFOs. I totally agree there's got to be some type of connection. If they're here, if they're seen around those type of things, I want to know why.
Yes, Chris.
And if it is people, Tom, then, and it's associated with this awakening, that's a big thing for us. I mean, that's something that can't be ignored. That's something that's huge.
You bet. That's why as soon as I came across that as an idea, I figured that this was a whole lot bigger than me. Yeah. And if I tried to answer it, I would not do it justice. So that's why I asked as many people as I could to get their input. And I think I probably covered the whole gamut by doing that. And I think I made my answer a lot more inclusive by doing that.
Yeah. So I like the fact that you added the maps and your research in the book. I think that's a necessity. I think it's something that it leaves you open to other people to review your information and maybe help you expand on it. Maybe give you some ideas. I think that's a great idea. I think it's awesome.
Joining us.
I really do.
Yeah. One of the other things that you guys were talking about before that I think needs to be mentioned as far as us leaving the planet and coming back multiple times, being regenerated, if you will. In one of my books, They Are Here, Volume 2, it looks like that. They Are Here, Volume 2. And it's a study of the central U.S. UFOs. Now, that's only part of the deal. What I wanted to mention, and most importantly, was there was something in here that is, it's called the Seven Fires Prophecy. This is a prophecy by the ancient Algonquins that have passed this down to all of their ancestors, and it's still being told today to the people that are still part of that tribe. Do you know Sherilyn Carter?
That name sounds familiar.
It does, but I'm not sure if it does sound familiar, though. Okay.
Well, anyhow, Cheryl told me a story that the Native Americans passed down, that in the Seven Fires Prophecy, in the seventh fire, which is actually now, in the seventh fire, the Native Americans were the people in question, but they were told that of the people of the white skin race that were allowed into this country, they were it's really kind of hard for me to do this. Why don't I read a little portion of this, and this is the seventh fire of the seven fires prophecy.
Yay!
It is in this time that the light-skinned race will be given a choice between two roads. If they choose the right road, then the seventh fire will light the eighth and final fire, an eternal fire of peace, love, brotherhood, and sisterhood. If the light-skinned race, meaning people that look like us, make the wrong choice of the roads, then the destruction which they brought with them in coming to this country will come back at them, cause much suffering and death to all of Earth's people. And what they're referring to is, at least in my opinion, what they're referring to is the
it's like an apocalypse type thing.
Pollution that we brought onto the Earth. Because of the construction, the manufacturing, cars, all that stuff, and there have been a lot of other prophecies that all seem to be coming true, Dominic. And coming real close to what this seventh fire prophecy has been saying. It's all coming right to a head right now.
Seven fires prophecy.
Look it up. You can Google it, and they'll have all the other fires on there, and it will tell you about all the things that were predicted that the Native Americans will come across. This is the last one, and we're hoping that. We're hoping this is a good choice.
Yes, Dominic.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff.
I'm pretty interested in these seven fires prophecies. Maybe I'll have to do my podcast on Thursday about them. I think
there you go.
I'm going to do some research. I think this will be something really cool.
Oh, you mean Cindy's going to do some research? Really?
Cindy just usually bases shit on her own shit. But no, I love this idea. Well, I asked the universe, what should my podcast be about? And I just knew that I would know when it was time. And holy shitballs.
Yeah. Yep. Wow. This is a keeper. This is really heavy stuff. And I think you'll find some pretty frightening scenarios.
Well, think about it this way, Tom. I mean, we had the Celestine Prophecy, if you remember. And, everybody wondered whether that was actually, if there were some truths to it. And it wouldn't surprise me if there's actually some truths to some of the things. Because these native cultures really do have a lot of information that we just don't, right? We don't pass on these stories in the Caucasian kind of.
They've been here for thousands of years, and they found a way to pass it down, and their stories have lived forever, and they will continue to. So, they're smarter than we are.
I think so too, to be honest.
Yep.
So
Tom, thank you for telling us about that. I think that's important.
I do too.
I mean that you have it in your book, one of your books, Volume 2, and that it's impressive. It really is impressive.
Well, Dominic and Christopher are both in. They're both going to be looking at your books, and I think that's fantastic. And if anybody takes anything away from this show today, it's maybe they'll find something that that they're looking for answers, and hopefully between his books and the show and what we've been talking about will help them. And that's the whole point of having this. Tom's not, Tom's got information that a lot of us just sit here and wish we knew about. Tom does the research, he does the work, and he's got it for us right there in his books. So
pulls his hair out, gets up at 3 a.m. with major downloads from spirits, and it's pretty bad.
Tom,
Let me tell you, I go crazy.
Yes.
And he's got a great sense of humor.
Nick, shut up. Nick says, I didn't know Cindy could do research, LOL.
Oh, that was my
Listen,
fault.
I don't do the research. Teddy usually does that. That was like my job. He told me when I first started 2.5 years ago, he said, you just have to sit there and look pretty. I'm like, okay, I can do that.
There you go. Got that covered.
Teddy.
Wow. Throw that back in my
teasing.
face. How nice.
So
Well,
funny.
I really want to say this, that, Tom, thank you
This
so
is
much for
awesome.
coming here and do this. This is
amazing.
it's awakening.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah,
really makes you
really is.
think. So, I mean, this is awesome.
It really
and
is
the people
part
in the
of the
chat rooms are
awakening, though.
loving it. They're loving the
Yeah,
the
they
whole
really
thing.
are.
So
Yeah.
this is awesome.
That's
Teddy, you're
good.
gonna have-
I'm happy.
We're going to have to talk about stuff, so afterwards. Because
Oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna
no,
need
we
to-
definitely have to. So
WLFE.
if anybody has any questions here for Tom, let's get those questions in there now. We have about 15 minutes,
Nick.
and then we can go from there. It says it will give you a break, Teddy.
If I
Thanks.
did research. First of all, yeah.
Genevieve is actually saying it. This is fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much, she said. So,
It
actually,
was
she
a
said
fun
thanks for the
night,
fun
isn't
evening.
it?
Yes. Well,
It really is a
anytime
fun
that you
night.
can.
I mean, it's so intriguing.
Well, anytime
Right?
you can open your mind and
Absolutely.
hear a story
Absolutely.
and listen to what a
Yeah.
person has to say. I say this about every story. There's a truth in there. You have to find it for yourself. You have to pick out what the truth is for you. And, I mean, I've read a lot of books. I've got a lot of books still yet to read. But I'll tell you, once you get into something, it's very hard to just, especially if it leaves you with more questions, it's hard to put it away. You're waiting for the next book, or you're waiting for something else to hit you in the face, because especially like what you do, Tom, I mean, the stuff that you come up with correlations and connections and trying to find answers, some of this stuff, I mean, it's going to leave a lot of us here tonight scratching our heads going, wow, because I know I'm going to think about that later. I've been thinking about this since he agreed to come on the show.
Yeah,
it's
that's
just,
amazing.
it's really a big topic. And it makes me think outside the box that it could be more than just earthquakes. It could be other things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Welcome
think
into my
about-
life for the last 2 years.
Well, Tom, I get it, but think about all the stuff that happens over in the East with, killings and all that stuff. They see UFOs over there as well. A lot of things that happens over there, they see this stuff. I mean, Russia even published some stuff of seeing UFOs. I mean, look at the whole big thing they did
Yeah.
with the abominable snowman or Bigfoot over there. The Yeti.
Christopher,
I mean,
that's
they threw a whole thing out about that as well. Their cases are unsolved. They have things that have happened. And I think the only way to reach people is by either putting out your some type of media, whether it's a book or a show or a video or something, to get other people that may have had an experience or know something about it. It's a way to reach out. It's a way to get more people involved. And I love that idea. I love this.
Sure. If you have a book idea, some people do the research on the book and then talk about the research and then call it a day. But I like to look at things from about 30 different directions. And
perfect, Patricia. Thank you.
I have to consider everything.
Right.
Not just my opinion, what other people are thinking
Right.
too.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
And that makes it a nightmare to write, but it's fun anyhow. It really is.
Yeah.
It's like putting a great big puzzle together with
Unless
all
you're
these
not good at
different
puzzles.
opinions and whatever else.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I let my godson do the puzzles. I'm not that good. And he's autistic. At 6 years old, he can put a 2,000-piece puzzle together long before I can.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So, guys, we're sitting here talking with Tom Conwell. His new book is called Earthquakes and UFOs. It's available on Amazon. You can reach out to him at facebook.com, author.thomas.conwell. Definitely look for some of his other books as well. He's a great writer. He's got some good books.
Yeah.
And I see. I haven't seen you in like a few years, though, Tom. But I see his son at some of the other conventions.
Yes, we
They
saw.
have some great information, and I love the maps.
We saw Tom's. Yes, we saw Tom's work in these
Right.
big, ginormous maps.
Maps with
it was
pins of
unbelievable. All
where
the
you
pins
see. Oh yeah,
Yes,
it's crazy,
it
but
was
it's
crazy.
So
It was
if you get the
crazy.
opportunity to see Tom at one of these, or Tim
Yes.
at one of these conventions, please
Yeah,
stop
'cause
over and
Tim-
talk to
Tim
them
is
because
very
they have got
knowledgeable.
some.
He knows this stuff with his dad. Yeah.
They got some great information, and you know
They
what? The
are
best thing
really
about
cool
it,
people.
yeah, and they do their research. They just don't sit on their bum and write, off the top of the head. They do their research. So
Thanks,
that
Dominic.
is definitely fantastic as far as I'm concerned. So one more time, Earthquakes and UFOs, Tom Conwell, available on Amazon. Facebook.com
it's funny.
/author.thomas.conwell. Check that out and
So
get a
this is
book.
funny. They're saying like cue the
The Unsolved
cue
Mysteries
the-
theme song. There you
yes
go.
Unsolved Mysteries theme songs or the X-Files song.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Only that's
and Dominic
funny.
says it's because you miss the artist, like a new song coming out. This was great. This was great tonight.
Well, thank you,
Yes.
Dominic. I'm sure he
Let me-
appreciates that.
Yes.
Let me mention one other thing.
There you
Here's
go.
my
Please
other
do.
book that we haven't really talked about. I don't know if you can see that.
Going
Can't see what it
Interstellar.
Interstellar.
Going
Ooh,
Interstellar.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Okay. This is a book. The first thing that I did as a ufologist is I wrote a whole bunch of blogs. Stories about just things about UFOs.
Right.
Yeah.
And I grabbed every little tiny subject that I possibly could, such as anti-gravity or wormholes or
yeah.
all of the varying subjects that one would have to understand in order to really pick up on the whole UFO question. And I
Right.
wrote a blog about each one, tried to explain it in my own words in the simplest way I possibly could, yet using all the latest physics that I could muster. I had a lot of fun writing this book, let me tell you. And if you happen to be listening today and you are just getting started in the UFO field, or you want to know more about UFOs or whatever else, get that book, Going Interstellar. That's the cheapest of all my books. It's only about 120 pages, but there's a whole heck of a lot of physics described in there. And I try to use human words so that you can understand it. So,
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's like a starter
Yeah,
book
'cause you
for
can't-
UFOs.
it really is.
This is the thing is people don't understand is I need to explain something. If you want to think of it this way, we are humans, right? We talk about things like angels, but angels are not necessarily human. They would be considered alien.
Yeah, because
We
they're not
talk
from
about
here.
the gods and goddesses. They would actually be alien. You talk about spirit. It's not from the earth, so it would be alien, right?
Or
there's a lot of things
interdimensionals.
that we don't.
Yeah,
Right.
true.
I mean, but they still would be alien from us being human, right? So
Yeah.
there are a lot of things
Yeah.
that people they don't cognitively sit and think about it. But this is a way for them to really just sit for a moment and go, holy shit, like, yeah, I guess angels would be something we would consider non-human, aka alien, right? Non-human.
Oh, you bet.
Right?
You bet.
Yeah. So these are things that, that even your books would help us understand, right?
That's the whole intent. To write from every possible viewpoint so that you get the full extraterrestrial experience. And maybe, if I'm lucky, I hit on one of their viewpoints.
Oh, did he freeze? Oh.
Who, me?
Perfect. Thank you. You froze for a moment for us.
Oh, sorry.
Well, no, Tom just froze, but you were freezing too. So maybe, is it me that's freezing? Or are you guys freezing? I
haven't had any issues.
I see
guys have frozen for me.
I see Ted freezing every so often, but Cindy, you're always seem to be on there.
Go figure.
Yeah, really.
Thanks, Tom.
I thought I set you up with one.
Perfect.
Wow.
Well, it's funny because I have both of you guys that have frozen up for me a little bit, so it's crazy. And the funny part is, Tom, is I felt like you were frozen at very integral parts where we were like, oh my gosh, what is he about to say? And it was like there was a little interference, right?
Who knows?
I definitely felt like there was interference.
Okay, guys, here's the link. So I just put it out. So I don't know if you can get it there. I'm going to put it in the chat as well.
Cold.
So here is the link to Tom's books, but I'm going to put it in the chat as well, so that hopefully you can click on it. And,
did you just type all that out, Ted?
No, I copied and pasted.
Oh, I was going to say. There's no way you got that right.
No, I used this.
Hysterical.
I may be a Neanderthal, but I used this.
Okay.
Right. So Nick said, even though he missed a majority, he'll be he's already finding all of this interesting, what he's caught. Christopher says, ooh, here's a good one. DiGiorno Bruno, that guy who went missing and had that huge statue and painting with an alien. I don't know about him.
I didn't hear that story.
We share. That's right. Pass us around. We like it. Please.
Please share, tell your friends. Please
go on to Facebook and like and follow Paratalk Radio. We would appreciate it. Please go to YouTube as well and subscribe and hit the bell icon, and you'll know when we go live for Paratalk Radio again. So please do that for us.
Yeah, and there's more shows like ours on WLFE-DB.com. There's also brand new shows. Yep, go right to the Facebook page and check out some of the other shows as well.
Lots of new shows on WLFE, guys. So
oh yeah, great shows. They're also looking for more shows. So if you've got a show idea,
like just Cindy.
So just reach out. But again, we're sitting here talking with Tom Conwell, an amazing author, and he's got a lot of books. I put out some of the links for you as much as I could so that you could check them out. But look up Earthquakes and UFOs by Tom Conwell on Amazon. His Facebook link is here also so that you guys can actually look him up on Facebook. It's facebook.com/author.thomas.conwell. Look at that. I'm getting that down. And then look for series that Tom has, and it's called They Are Here. It's a series. Check out those books as well. So please, I mean, he's got some interesting stuff, and if you're into UFOs, especially stuff that you wouldn't think about, then you need to check out his books, because he really does his homework. So, and I love it.
Yeah, Nick, do it.
See this?
Look at that, you guys. Look at that.
That's a UFO sighting map.
Centered.
Yeah.
Look at how much is centered on the East Coast.
Yep.
There's a lot on the East Coast. That's triple or even quadruple what's on the West Coast.
Actually, it isn't.
Really?
And the reason it's not is, well, first of all, there's a whole lot more population on the East Coast. And on the West Coast, there's like a lot of room between cities. However, the top 4 cities are Phoenix, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Seattle.
Wow.
Yes.
And
I would believe that because
Yep.
Phoenix, I definitely felt in the 90s when I went there. It was just a very weird feelings place. But they also have the oh my gosh, what the hell are they called? The Mystic Mountains. I can't think of what it is. My girlfriend
Tom,
goes
now
there
is that available in the book? So if they buy a book, it's in the book.
There's a picture of this in Earthquakes and UFOs.
Okay, cool.
But I also sell these separately in 8.5 by 11, which is what you're looking at here, or in 18 by 24 poster size.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And you just
We've
contact
seen
me
that one.
directly, and I can get one to you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think we need one of those
Christopher
for
said that.
Paratalk Radio.
That would be
we need
awesome.
one for the wall. Oh yeah.
Christopher said that he sees it in his area too, and he said earlier that he's in the Rio Grande Valley.
Okay,
Cool.
Texas.
Yeah.
South Texas, then.
Yeah, Texas does have sightings.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Well, anyhow, what I was saying about the West Coast and those 4 cities that I mentioned,
Mothman, yeah.
you see very few pins there. But the reason that is because on the East Coast, there were actually fewer sightings of the same kind of thing. And what I did on the West Coast is that if I had 20 sightings of one particular type, I used a big pin, and then I had to use another big pin with a different color for 100 sightings of the same thing. And those cities on the West Coast had hundreds of them on.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
it's
a lot
really
of work.
crazy. That's crazy.
And a lot of work.
Yeah, it took me a year to do that map.
That's unbelievable. That's amazing.
Nick has got a comment here. He says, here in Chicago, we've had a number of UFO sightings over the last couple of years as well. And as Mothman and we call the Chicago Phantom.
Mm-hmm.
What is a Chicago Phantom?
I haven't heard that one. I've heard Mothman.
Yeah, Chicago
me too.
Phantom. I'm going to have to do some research on that myself. See if we
Yeah.
can find somebody that knows some stuff about it. Find a researcher.
Yes.
That would be great for the show. All right, well,
Yeah,
guys, it
absolutely.
is almost time for us to go. So I want to say thank you again to Tom for coming here. Tom, it has been a
thank
pleasure.
you.
It has been a
Oh
pleasure.
my gosh, I've had so much fun. I love it.
Well, thanks for
Listen,
having
my
me.
friend.
I love the
Listen,
topic.
my friend,
so.
you are on to some really good stuff, really good correlations. You really are corroborating a lot of stuff, and you really are having conversations and speaking with spirit and having you understand things a lot more from a human perspective in looking at these aliens and a different and new perspective, right?
I just think
I
it's
actually think
amazing.
they're helping me.
I agree. I would agree 100% because I have guides that are alien.
I just think it's an amazing correlation between the earthquakes and the UFOs, and I would love to see what Tom's work
And
is
the
going to be in the
awakening.
future. Yeah, but
The
in the
awakening,
future,
yeah.
what you're going to
Spiritual
have, Tom. I mean, you may stumble on
Yes.
something else that may connect all this stuff together, and I can't wait to see what you got coming up next.
I literally
Me too.
felt that a lot of Tom's work would be like there would be how do they draw strings to things for me, like so if somebody was wanting to move, they would draw like, okay, you live here and this is where I see you. So I would have like a little red yarn to go show me where they were going, right? But this is what they're showing me with Tom's work. Like they're showing me these red strings, these red yarn strings, like putting each thing together, and you're going to understand a lot more, Tom. They really are explaining.
Well, I think it's just altogether. I think it's a fantastic subject. I think it was. I think it's good when we have somebody that we know, like Tom, to come on here and talk about a subject that we both love, Cindy. And you know, like I said, he does his work, and he really has the knowledge. I don't know if Tom heard me from the beginning, but I made the comment before you came on that I said I'm surprised that you don't work for MUFON because somebody needs to straighten out some of that shit. But because there's a lot out there. But I think it's awesome that you're able to do this for us and bring that subject to light. And guys, please go back out, check out his books. You guys have. I've been playing it. I've been putting it up there. God, I got other things in my brain.
Oh.
So Earthquakes, UFOs by Tom Conwell. So please make sure to check that out. Next, Nick's got a whole file on Mothman reports. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. And he's been doing some research on the Phantom.
Yeah, but he said the Chicago Phantom is just Chicago's version of Mothman.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Dominic says, "Thank you, Tom. I mean,
absolutely.
It's been awesome to have you here, and hopefully we'll get you back soon and see how things are going and what you're working on then. And it'd be awesome. Please stay in touch, guys. Make sure you get his books. We've been talking all night long about this stuff. It's very fantastic. I'm still not good. I'm not good with Cindy's theory of Bigfoot and UFOs, even though Tom backed her up.
Tom to back me up. Thank you, Tom.
Whatever.
Thank you, Tom.
Whatever.
And so we had another UFO guy not that long ago, just a couple months ago, I think it was, and he backed me up. He agreed. He said the same thing.
Yep.
But I've had a couple but we've also had a couple that has backed me up. So we're kind of like split here. So we're good to go. And I had a paleontologist side with me. So it's one of those things. So, but either way, it's okay. We'll figure it out one day. We really will. One day we'll figure it out. All right. So Tom, thank you again. So real quick, Cindy, before we have to get out of here, what you got coming up?
Yes, please. So what do I have coming up? Tomorrow is
Taco Tuesday.
Taco. Right. It is Tarot Tuesday with me on my Psychic Cindy page here on Facebook and my The Psychic Cindy page for YouTube. I will be on both of those places streaming live.
And it should be shared to WLFE Facebook as well. It should be there somewhere. You just have to. You should.
Okay.
Why not?
And I was wondering that too. It was a thought that I had earlier. But
just do it.
Definitely on Thursday is my podcast on WLFE DB Radio. It is Just Cindy. It's my podcast, and it starts at 8 p.m. and it goes till 10 p.m. And,
2 hours of Cindy. Can you imagine?
Those are the things that I have. 2 hours of me. Your night will be complete, my friend. Tarot Tuesday easily is 2 hours, if not more.
There you go. So tomorrow night for me on Talk with Teddy, we are actually going to be talking with some people that are in development of a short series. It's actually called The Cryptid Crusaders. And what it is they're little skits that they try to be, well, some of it is funny. They try to be humorous to kind of change the way things are with people. We're so, capped with all this negative stuff these days. These people have gotten together to create some little skits about Bigfoot, UFOs, all this stuff, and it's all funny stuff. I actually have one of their first videos. I'm actually working with them on a couple things. But we're going to be talking with the crew from Cryptid Crusaders tomorrow night at 10 o'clock on Talk with Teddy. And then Thursday...
Oh my gosh, why aren't they going to be on Paratalk?
Because they're not really cryptid. It's a comedy thing, that's why.
So but that would be fun.
It would be. But Thursday, we are back to the serious stuff. We were actually talking about bullying on Thursday. And with a bunch of people. And... yeah, so every once in a while I throw a serious subject in there like that, and but bullying is important, and it's happening more so today, than it has in the past, and we'll talk about why. So
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, but all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us here, and thanks, Tom again, thank you, and guys,
thanks for having me.
Tom, thank you so much for all you do.
And yes, we really do appreciate it. Cindy?
I'm ready.
You ready? All right, folks. She's ready. She's ready. All right, guys. Wherever there is darkness, there is always
daylight.
Thank you for listening to Paratalk Radio with Ted Wolf and Psychic Cindy. Catch us next Monday for another fantastic guest. Please check out our show as well as others on the WLFE DB Radio Network. And remember, like, follow, and share with everyone.
Join us at WLFE-DB.com for upcoming shows and so much more.
WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.